Hello, Facebook friends. Well, I'm at a safe house, basically, and that's how women are able to get off the street who otherwise would be homeless, many of whom have been homeless, and they were able to come to the safe house that's run by the New Life Evangelistic Center, that's operated by Reverend Larry Rice, and they have been doing this for some time, and these safe houses are all around the area here. We're not going to say where we are, obviously, because they're kind of embedded in the community, and they don't make their presence known, so that people can just kind of come in peace, get through the program, and kind of get their lives back on track. First of all, they get off the streets. That's the first thing. And secondly, they get in a program to help get their lives on track. And we're going to hear from some of these ladies today. Let's get to this young lady here. What's your name?
Tammy.
Tammy, so tell me your story. How did you become homeless, and how long have you been out? How long were you out there?
I was out there since 2022, and I left an abusive friendship, and I just kept going back to him because I had nowhere else to go. But the final end was I finally left him, and being out there homeless was scary, very scary.
What was the scariest thing about?
I almost got robbed, but that person, I ran away from the person, and as far as I could, away from that one person, and I don't know who he is, I don't, but I'm thankful that I'm here. I'm not homeless anymore, and I heard about the program when I was at in Springfield, Missouri. The veterans coming home there in Springfield. I applied for the program, and here where I'm at, and I have one more month to go. So February of this year, I'll graduate.
So you did have to.
Yes.
You did have to struggle with some issues, didn't you?
Yes, I did.
What issues did you have to struggle?
I just struggled with my mental illness and my drug addiction that I had, and just roaming the streets, finding somewhere to go, somewhere. And I was at the point where I'm tired, I need something different, and God more or less said, Tammy, you need to go, you need to get off the streets, and this is where I've been.
How important has this program been to you?
It's been very important. It's given me a stability, a closer walk with my Lord, and the family that I have. And I'm very, very thankful for everything. I really am.
What's been the hardest part about being homeless?
The hardest part, finding a place to sleep and trying to find places to eat too. And it was very hard and struggling for me. But I try to do my best.
So you would be out on the street pretty much all day?
Yes. Yeah.
How would you make it?
I figured something out. Mm-hmm. I was at that point where I was just tired. What's the sense of going on anymore? But you know what? The Lord brought me out of that hole, and He saved me, and I'm very blessed. I'm very, very blessed.
But it hasn't been easy.
No, it hasn't. No, it really hasn't. I'm thankful and blessed that I'm here. And I have a family that loves and cares about me. And if it hadn't been for Reverend Rice and Pastor Chris Aaron Rice, I wouldn't be here. But I made the decision, and I got accepted. I'm so happy that I'm here.
So, Destiny, tell me your story. How did you become homeless?
So the instability started when my baby father passed away, and I was trying to make it on my own, paying rent and bills and taking care of a bunch of cars he left me that I had no clue what to do with. And eventually I had my own car that I knew how to work, so I would drive that, and people wrecked and stole his pieces off of his cars. So I just let him go, along with the place that we had that I could not afford. Ended up staying in my car with my daughter, and somebody.
How tough was that?
It's uncomfortable. It's cold. It could be hard on a car that was absolutely necessary at that time, and I ended up running through a good car. Ended up in scary situations, not knowing where to park to sleep, being afraid of safety. Somebody could have tried to rob me, or, Lord knows worse, because it got worse after. It got worse after I ran out of gas on the side of the road, and somebody stole the car from the side of the road. And yeah, that was the most scariest thing, being outside in the cold, not knowing where to go. Like, that is a very vulnerable and scary situation to be put in at the age of 23. And yeah.
What was the worst thing that happened during that time?
So after I lost my car, I knew some people who seemed to be willing to help, but were basically trying to get me trapped in sex trafficking, and Lord knows where that could have ended up. And I'm happy I called Deborah here at the New Life Evangelistic Center, and they welcomed me in with open arms.
That was scary.
It is. It really is. Like, I don't think the worst thing you could bring to your imagination could ever equal the reality of the situation, because
you said you were almost like 1 day away.
Most likely 1 day away. Yeah.
Explain
I mean,
that.
it don't take that long for, because it don't take that long for the ball to get rolling on that stuff. It don't take nothing but a conversation, somebody to spend some change on you, a little bit of money on you, and to try to ease you into, being in a bad situation. It can be easy to get persuaded into doing things you don't really want to do for money, just for money to survive. And I have a 5-year-old daughter that, she's in school right now, but yeah, I wouldn't want her to, see me go through that or experience anything like that. And words can't explain how grateful I am for coming into this stable, God-fearing and loving community with these women. I'm the youngest person here, and
you're 23.
Yes,
that's a lot. You've gone through a lot at 23.
Yeah, but the world can be a very broken place and very in need of God and Jesus to intervene. And this is really a blessing, because I didn't even know anything like this existed. I'm very grateful to have come into the community with these women. It really is a sanctuary. It really is.
Marsha, how did you end up homeless?
The apple of the eye. I lost my mom about 5 years ago, and you never appreciate what you have until you don't have it. She would never let none of her kids fall, but being friendly that I am, helped out others, and putting their needs before my own, due to some health issues, transportation, I got behind on my rent, was supposed to go stay with my family. That kind of backfired, so it put us into living in my van with me and my daughter in Springfield, Missouri. We would stay in a safe spot, being at the hospital, because I figured nobody's gonna rob you under cameras. So yeah, so it's a little rough.
How important is this program?
It's important because it gives me, I have a beautiful young ladies that we stay with. It makes you where that we'll have a roof over our head for tonight or for our program. So we get along really good. So it's warm, it's safe.
Well, thank you for talking to me. And Deborah, how long had you been homeless altogether?
Since 1992 and 2000 to 21. Separate times, though.
How hard was that?
It was pretty hard. I mean, I slept downtown for the first few nights. And then they told me about Reverend Rice. This white lady took me to Reverend Rice. Her name was Angel back then. And she was homeless, too. So she helped me get to Reverend Rice. He had a shelter, this big old house on Park. Yeah. And I stayed there. And it was very nice.
What was the scariest thing about being homeless?
The scariest thing is because you got sometimes drunken people. They homeless too, and they be fussing and cussing and carrying on and fighting. And then you might have somebody following you. I had somebody to follow me, and I had to have somebody to help me to get rid of that person. They called the police, and that was scary.
How do you feel about your life now?
It's been very, very great now. I've been with Larry for a year, straight year now, and it's been very rewarding, helping other women and helping fixing sandwiches and stuff for the homeless people.
You're the house mom?
Yes.
Okay.
And helping others besides myself is very rewarding.
So you get to look after the other ladies.
Yeah, it's very good. Yeah.
That makes you feel good, doesn't it?
Yeah, and you can share your experience and talk about
Right.
what's going on.
Well, thank you. Appreciate it. What was the situation that caused you to become homeless in the first place?
Marriage. A bad marriage. An abusive marriage. One I had a long time getting out of. I was married from 2001 to 2014, and it was completely abusive. He was awful.
And you finally had to escape
Yes, sir.
and became homeless then?
Yes, sir.
So you looked at the situation and said, better to take your chances on the streets than
Absolutely.
to remain in that abusive situation.
Yes. And as it turns out, joining the program helped me strengthen my walk and my faith for my career. I do private duty nursing in homes, and it helped me to become stronger along the way.
So we've gotten a chance to hear all of these women, and you've heard a lot of different stories about how they ended up in the homelessness. And this goes for all those people who think that it's always mental illness or always drugs and alcohol or something like that. Often it's just that life takes a bad turn. You could got bad luck, bad relationships, or they have to make a choice to stay in an abusive relationship that could cost them their life, or get out on the streets and take their chances on the street being homeless. And those are some of the tough decisions that people have had to make. And I'm going to just talk to Reverend Rice here. How important is this program?
It's absolutely critical. I could tell you so many different stories. After they closed 1411 Locust Street, we knew we had to do something. Our teams moved out on the streets to help those trying to survive out there. We actually sold the television station we had, KNLC, and used the monies to buy houses where we could start putting the women in, and other direct ways to also expand our program among the men. But for example, I think of a lady by the name of Christine going down Highway 44. Her abuser's attacking her, throws the door open and shoves her out going 70 miles an hour. She wakes up at SLU Hospital, and then after they patch her up, she goes out. She's in a homeless encampment. Police see her. They tell her about our place. She calls. She was with us for a while until we were able to get her into like Perryville, Missouri, where they had a house there that were able to transcend her actually into an employment situation. Many, many cases like this. Individuals just need a hand up, not a handout, and that's what the New Life Safe Houses do.
Homelessness getting worse. Why?
It's getting so much worse. The destruction of affordable housing. It's virtually impossible to open a shelter in spite of politicians' rhetoric in the city of St. Louis with plat and petition. All it takes is one cranky neighbor that imagines all this stuff concerning the homeless, and homelessness is actually they're the most people are so prejudiced against them. It's new inward in America today. They assume all these things. We're talking about flesh and blood human beings made in the image of God that just need a second chance, a hand up, and that's what we try to do, is give them a hand up. And one thing that comes out when you hear these women talking is they have a sense of purpose. It's more than just a place to sleep, more than food to eat. It's a sense of purpose. They're given jobs. They're given responsibilities. After they've been with us a while, we discover their talents. And then they get this sense of purpose, and they get to help other people. You talked to Deborah earlier. Her job is how to help screen the women coming in. Others help work on a newspaper we have. Others make lunches for the homeless and work with prisoners and just doing so many things. And house mothers, we give them a sense of purpose. And that's why even when their lives stabilize and they really get strong in, a lot of them want to just stay on helping because they've discovered that same sense of purpose I've now lived and experienced for 53 years. Housing costs have soared out there. Even buying these safe houses, when we started doing this, it's costing us 2 to 3 times as much now than it did years ago. because the house speculators have gotten in there at the market. And if you don't have a lot of money set aside and you see a house you want, by the time you get to it, they've already bought it up, and then they remodel it and develop it, and then they rent it out for 3 times it was before. That's greed has just perpetuated this society. You have the breakdown of the family unit, you have the drug issues that are out there. You have individuals trying to make it. And it's just so hard right now. So talking to even these men this morning that sleeping right out there in the cold and piling on the blankets, and it's just horrendous, inhuman conditions. And the politicians, they respond to the people. And sadly, so many people have become hard-hearted. There's no other city in America like St. Louis that the city hall has totally put a fence around it. So symbolic of not in my backyard. We want to keep you out of sight, out of mind. Closed for renovation. I mean, anybody believes that? Yes, we got a boat somewhere we could sell them that's out in the middle of the desert. Because you believe that, God help you. Because it's there to keep the homeless out. And so not only the politicians don't want to hear them, they put a fence around it so they don't see them anymore. And they put the fence around the park next door. Drive down City Hall. Take a look at it. It speaks for itself. Do they care? Of course not. You see it in the fence. Mayor Tashara Jones is not doing enough. Not doing enough. Not at all. She knows she's not doing enough. All she has to do is put, like it's brought out many times, put a bus out there. So they got a place they can go to and so on. We give out thousands of dollars a week of bi-state bus tickets to the homeless that can climb on a bus and go for a ride. We've done that so much that bi-state now has a whole division to help the homeless out there. So they've developed a whole division to help the homeless because so many homeless having to ride the bus because there's nowhere else that they can really go. Right now. So people are hurting. The mayor knows this, but again, she's up for re-election. She's trying to raise more money than her competitor out there, and she knows these people don't have any money. So the people that do care are going to have to let her know that, hey, I vote. I'm remembering how you treat the people. I remember the promises you made when you first became mayor.
Tell me, how can people reach you who would like to donate?
Please go to our New Life site, newlifeevangelisticcenter.org, and because of the inspiration of Elliot Davis, we now have a Facebook, and our teams are out doing a lot of that. Go to our Facebook page, friend us at Facebook, share it with your family and friends. We're out there with those people all the time. Those people meaning the homeless, the hurting, our people. It should be all of our people, God's people. Jesus said, "Fox have holes, birds have nests, see the Son of Man, I know where to lay his head." But at the same time, we have to care, and we give people an opportunity. It's a two-way street. We're a bridge between the man in the street and the man and woman in the pew. Got to get it together. We try to do it. Come on down and volunteer.
Give me those ways that people can reach you again.
They can call us at 314-421-302. They can join these ladies tomorrow, Saturday, at 11 a.m. from 11 to 1. We have an open house. They'll be all out there. They'll be happy to meet them. Come on out March 8th. Call us to come to Orlando's. Elliot's going to be sharing his experience. They're a featured speaker there, and that's on March the 8th. Make connection, and let us help you make connection with the homeless. Go out with us. See this for yourself. See what Elliot sees.
Telephone number and what else?
314-421-302. Go to nlecstl.org. NLECSTL.org. NLEC, New Life Evangelistic Center.org.
This organization doing certainly a lot to help these homeless women, and I just wanted you to be able to see and hear from these ladies and from the Reverend Larry Rice about all the good things they are doing, and God is truly blessing this effort. I'm going to continue to bring you stories like this, my Facebook friends.